Welcome to LynnCAM TV Show. Here with me is Ellen, Dan, and Lauren from Prject Bread. Here we're talking a little bit about the Walk for Hunger, what its goal is, how people can get involved. So we're happy you tuned in. Guys, thanks for being here. Ellen, let's start off with you. You have a big role over there at Prject Bread. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Of course. Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here.
I got involved with Prject Bread about 2.5 years ago. I moved from Florida, which was a big change. And since then, I've been working at Prject Bread in a couple of different roles. I help, go out to shows like this and promote the organization and spread the word and educate individuals about hunger and about what we do as an organization. But I've also done things like work on a cookbook and go out to organizations and really hear from the people that we help. So it's been an amazing experience, and I really love doing it.
So Florida is definitely a lot different than New England, weather-wise. How are you enjoying that?
Oh, this winter is supposed to be over already. I don't know what's going on.
Winter's 10 months here, so you can either gain weight or get a coat.
Yes.
Now, Dan, you're not really affiliated with Prject Bread. However, you're a big part of what these girls are trying to do. You're a walker in the Walk for Hunger. Tell us how you got involved. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm a Lynn guy, Lynn resident, been here all my life. I walk every day. I walk down the beach, I walk up the woods, all around. That's part of the exercise. So about 3 years ago, a representative came to our company. I work for Bristol Myers Squibb in Waltham. We have a drug research facility there. And she put on a presentation and it kind of caught my attention. Number one, the challenge of doing the walk, and number two, the challenge of getting donations. Both those have gone well. This will be my third year, and we're trying to put together a local team that I call Team Lynn, and we'd love to have people contact me through Prject Bread and join the team or donate.
Yeah, no, it's from what you've told me before the show. The Lynn team is one of the top competitors. We'll get into that a little bit later, but let's go over to you, Lauren. Now you work over there at Prject Bread, and you work closely here with Ellen. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your role is there.
So I'm from North Reading, Massachusetts, and I've lived there my whole life. And I'm recently getting involved with Prject Bread and the Walk for Hunger. I work closely with Ellen in our communications department, so I'm helping, kind of get the word out, spread things on social media, and just overall promote Prject Bread and the Walk for Hunger schools.
Your role basically is to make everybody aware of what's going on at Prject Bread. So that's very much so in detail, so I'm sure your job is way ahead of mine. And there's a good turnout for the Walk for Hunger. You guys have thousands of people show up, so it's attributed to good work like yours. Ellen, let's talk a little bit about Prject Bread. What purpose does it serve to the community?
So Prject Bread is the leading anti-hunger organization in Massachusetts. We're dedicated to ultimately ending hunger in the state, and we're doing that through a lot of different methods. A lot of that ends up coming back to the community of Lynn. We have a couple of programs here that we collaborate with, but across the state, we partner with more than 400 community food organizations. We are funding programs that focus on children in schools. We're focusing on programs that are at the community level, like those 400 community food programs, and increasing farm-to-table resources.
Okay, so that's all very in detail as well.
Yes.
You have a lot on your plate. Now the Walk for Hunger is a big part of why we're here, but Prject Bread, statewide thing, and you guys focus on everything from nutrition to even hunger as well.
Yes.
So we'll get into that a little bit more. Now, Dan, you're a walker over there. Lauren, a big part of your job is making people like Dan aware that the walk is going on. Let's talk a little bit about the Walk for Hunger right now.
So the Walk for Hunger is actually the oldest continual pledge walk in the country, and what we're doing obviously is raising awareness about the issue of hunger in Massachusetts. We're on our 46th year now actually, so we've been doing this for quite a while, and it's become kind of a tradition in a lot of families and communities in Massachusetts. So we look to have 40,000 walkers who show up and come help us support all the programs that we're trying to help for the communities.
40,000 is a good goal.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
So now tell me a little bit about how people can get involved. How do they register? How do they hear about all that stuff?
Sure. So, you know, you can definitely go to our website, which is prjectbread.org/walk, and what you want to do there, there'll be an option for you to register as a walker, or you could just show up on the day of the event at our registration tent on the Boston Common. We have a rolling registration between 7 and 9 that morning, and you can just sign up at that point.
Now, Dan, earlier in the show, you talked a little bit about Team Lynn. You're a huge driving force behind this. It sounds like Dan's probably one of your ideal candidates. The more like Dan, get him in. Tell me about Team Lynn. Tell me about the walk, your experience with it.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, a 20-mile walk is fun. You know, that's hard to say, but it's the way the Prject Bread has set it up. It's you start out on a beautiful Sunday for the walks I've done. This will be my third. So you get into Boston about 6:30 in the morning, Sunday, beautiful day, easy to get to, Boston. There's even on-street parking available. You go over to the Common, register, you know, get together with the people you're with, or, you know, on your own. There's usually someone you can find to partner with. And it's you know, people are everywhere, but it's very well organized. That's an important thing. You go to some places, you're not sure where to go. Here, you're directed to the correct table. You're directed how to register. You know, people are, you know, you're applauding as you leave the Common, walk. You can either walk around or through the public gardens, which is beautiful that time of day. May is a great time to have the event. Continue on down Commonwealth Avenue. Not only do you walk down Commonwealth Avenue, but you walk on Commonwealth Avenue. They shut down traffic for as the walk goes down. So that's kind of a, you know, my first year walking, that was a neat thing, walk down Commonwealth Avenue. You know, looking at the brownstones and, you know, looking out for cars, but the police have it all set up. It's the whole 20-mile walk is very well patrolled, organized and patrolled, safe. Walk on through Kenmore Square, and of course you can wave to Fenway Park or genuflect, you know, depending on your affiliation with the Red Sox. On up through Brookline, on up through Brookline toward Coolidge Corner, and then it's off toward Chestnut Hill Reservoir, and then you have stops along the way. They've set up, you know, every 3-4 miles, there's places you can stop. You know, it's not a forced march. You enjoy yourself. You know, it's easy to stop, get water, maybe get a little first aid. You can also only walk a mile. You can walk a mile, 5 miles, the whole 20-mile route. That's up to the person. You know, we're not there to. We're more to raise awareness than get involved with the march. But you're there, you walk through Newton, come down through Watertown Square.
You don't have to walk the whole entire 20 miles.
Exactly.
Part of this is just raising awareness. That's a big part of it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Prject Bread, some of the other projects that you guys have going on in programs. Ellen, you had mentioned earlier about a pilot program, which I think a lot of people at home will be interested in seeing. Right now, what we're going to do is go to a video which highlights the walk, and we hope you at home stay tuned.
It's Ellen Parker, and we're here at the Walk for Hunger.
Each May, Prject Bread holds the Walk for Hunger to gather crucial financial support for the work we and our partners do all year round.
I walk because it helps to bring awareness to the serious problem of hunger in Massachusetts and in the country.
In fact, in Massachusetts, 700,000 children and adults cannot confidently predict where their next meal is coming from. This need is what inspired Patrick Hughes, a priest at the Paulus Center, to organize the first walk, which was held on Sunday, June 8, 1969. Since then, and each year after, the walk has grown to meet the growing need. Prject Bread takes on hunger with a wide range of strategies that make it possible for us to reach many different people in different places, strategies that work together to give us a greater impact as an organization.
I walk because every family and every child have a right to food security, and Prject Bread's mission is to see that that happens.
Money from the walk also goes to support early childhood and school nutrition programs to teach lifelong eating habits that break the cycle of poverty.
I walk because I really think the programs that Prject Bread has are really, really important, especially with me being involved in the Chefs and Head Start program. It approaches three things, which is the parents, where we do the once-a-month parent workshops, where they're learning how to cook healthy at home for their children and their families. We're doing the nutrition activities where I go into their classrooms and we do a lot of fun things when they're doing a lot of hands-on with a lot of that stuff. And I work with their cafeteria staff where they're learning some new techniques and learning some new ideas on how to make these meals appealing to the children, and so that everybody's on board. That's why this is so important to me, doing the Walk for Hunger.
In addition to the Chefs in Head Start program, Prject Bread's Chefs in Schools initiative is making school food healthier and tastier. Our chefs work with kitchen staff to improve skills and test new recipes that students will enjoy eating. Many of these recipes have now been released in our school food cookbook. The Walk for Hunger also supports improved access to farm-to-table and local resources that support our farmers and families at the same time.
I walk because I try to feed everyone healthy food. That's the reason why farming is so important to me.
Because of farmers like Farmer Dave, Prject Bread helps low-income individuals buy into CSA shares that get fresh, healthy foods to those who need it.
We're real excited because Prject Bread sees the vision of how do we expand this type of urban farming throughout Boston.
When you join the Walk for Hunger, you have the potential to impact our state in three ways. You help spread the word about the need for hunger relief in our state. You support both short-term and long-term solutions that make a real, lasting difference. And you show the world that together we can take steps to address the issue of hunger.
Welcome back to the LynnCAM TV Show. If you're just joining us, here with me are some of the elitists from Prject Bread. We have Ellen, Dan, and Lauren. Again, guys, thanks for being here. If you've just joined us at home, what we've talked about is the big event coming up, the Walk for Hunger. Dan himself is a walker, huge part of this. Ellen works over at Prject Bread along with Lauren, so it's these ladies' responsibility to make sure that viewers like you at home know a lot about the event and how to get involved. Ellen, we talked a little bit about Prject Bread. Its purpose is to address the problem of hunger. Let's talk a little bit about hunger. We'll focus on the state of Massachusetts right now, and then we'll get into Lynn. But tell us about this epidemic.
So hunger is a serious issue in Massachusetts right now. There are 700,000 individuals in Massachusetts who cannot confidently predict where their next meal is coming from. So that's the technical definition for food insecurity. So there's 700,000 people in Massachusetts who are food insecure. This is 80% higher than it was before the recession. So if you think about the fact that in 2008 is when we had our economic recession, there were a lot of people who were hard hit. That's really when hunger became so much more of an issue in our state. And so Prject Bread has been working to alleviate that and get us back to where we were before the recession. Okay, so you guys serve an important role. Let's talk about Lynn. Mm-hmm. You guys are located in Lynn, or are you located just in the North Shore? Where are you guys? What's your focus? We are really close by. Our office is in East Boston, but we work across the state, including with several organizations in Lynn. Okay. You were mentioning earlier about our pilot program. Right. And so we're really excited about that one because it's started up in Lynn. And so it's a Chefs in Head Start program. So what that means is that we've taken a chef and we've placed them in a Head Start program. So Head Start works with really young kids, so up to 5 years old. And so these are kids from low-income families that don't have as many opportunities as other families would. And by putting a chef into that environment, they're introducing these kids to nutritious foods, to meals that they've never had before. And this chef is also working with their parents. And so they're teaching the parents how to make healthy meals at home. on a budget, and so that's a big issue for everyone. And so this program, it started in Lynn, but we want it to go statewide.
So this program, this pilot program, is it's in partnership with one of the 8. Now, Dan, you had mentioned that there are 8 organizations in Lynn that Prject Bread partner with. Tell us a little bit about those guys.
Well, the list I have of the 8 organizations, which is pretty extensive, would be the Catholic Charities North, the East Coast International Church, the Lynn City Mission, the Lynn Community Health Center. They're big in the Lynn Public Schools, of course, down at the Lynn Shelter Association, with My Brother's Table and the Salvation Army. There may be other organizations, but that's the list I was given recently. And that's quite an extensive list of people, in and around Lynn who are serviced by the programs of Prject Bread.
All right.
It's
So a lot of these organizations are receptive to you guys, right? Now, is it always have to focus on hunger, or nutrition's a big part of it as well? Where else would you guys touch?
So Prject Bread believes that the opposite of hungry is not full, it's healthy. So we work with a lot of different organizations, generally around food and hunger. So sometimes that involves working with farmers, because they're the ones producing the food, and we're trying to get that food directly from a farm to a school or to a farmer's market where individuals can buy those vegetables and that food. So it's part of it is economic. It's making those connections. A lot of it is nutrition, and a lot of it is access, that people just need to be able to have the food that they need.
That's a great point to make, because I mean, a lot of the shopping that is done that I see in people's carriages are snacks and chips and drinks, and even in my own. And it's really not attributed to people like wanting to eat that way. Some of it's attributed to fiscal, how much they can afford, as well as what they know about it. Soda has, they've shown, I've seen bags of sugar in one can of soda. And it's like, oh, well, now I understand why I shouldn't drink that. Now, that has to be a big part about what you guys do. Do you ever reach out to any of the businesses, local businesses around the area, to kind of make them aware, hey, this is something that we're trying to work on? Would you like to be a part of this, other than just those nonprofit organizations?
Definitely. We have a lot of corporate sponsors that support the work that we do. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts is one of our supporters, and when you think about it, it makes perfect sense for a company that does health insurance to get involved in food insecurity, because food insecurity has so many different health impacts. Those who are hungry are going to get sick more often. They're not going to be able to recover as quickly, and so it makes sense for us to be working with organizations like Blue Cross Blue Shield. And then Bay State Milling is another one that we work with, and so they actually produce grains.
Okay.
And so, they're in the food industry, and we're partnering with them as well.
Cool. Now, Lauren, you had mentioned earlier that a big part of your role is getting exposure, letting people know. What are some of the questions that you face from people who are interested in the walk? There has to be some questions like, is it wheelchair accessible? Can handicapped people participate in the walk? Tell us about some of that.
So I get a lot of questions as to how people can, be a participant in the Walk for Hunger, but for instance, like they might not be able to walk all 20 miles, or they're more comfortable doing something where they're volunteering. So I get a lot of questions as to how I can register as a volunteer, what you can do to be a volunteer on the day of. We definitely need 2,000 volunteers, believe it or not, to actually make our event kind of run as smoothly as possible. So, we have people who will be handing out water along the walk route. We have people actually cheering you on along the miles. So, you're not just in it by yourself. And then definitely, first responders for our first aid tents, people to do registration in the morning. There's so many ways that you can actually be involved in the walk if you aren't able to physically walk yourself.
So not just walk, volunteers are a huge part of this as well.
Very huge part, definitely.
Now, Dan, you're a big part of this just as a walker.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Team Lynn a little bit before, and we had also touched base before the show had started that there is a little bit of sense of competition among other teams. Who can raise the most money? Who can get the most people to volunteer? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, well, this year I'd like to start organizing what I'm calling Team Lynn, which is the site that you would donate or volunteer or register to be part of. I had seen through my experiences with Prject Bread and the meetings they would have, you know, people, schools would come, or a group from Brookline or Newton, or, you know, any of the North Shore communities. And what I wanted to do is not only contribute as an individual, but get an ongoing group, I call Team Lynn, an ongoing group that will year after year be able to increase donations, increase the membership, and come up with some creative ideas for funding. Maybe I've heard people do car washes, you know, other ways of getting funding. And I do okay for funding with family, friends, co-workers, but I wanted to, you know, my purpose is twofold: to build a Team Lynn for the future, for this year and the future, and also to increase donations. You know, it's a good way to start. It's a terrific organization, so they need all the support they can get, and I'm more than willing to help. You know, I enjoy the walk. I enjoy the day.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful for me, you know, in so many ways.
The weather's been good to you as well.
The weather's been good. They do in May.
We have some information on the screen right now. When the event will be held, it will be Sunday, May 4th at the Boston Common. Again, you can go to the website and visit them. They're on Facebook. There's plenty of ways to get involved. Now, Dan, we talked a little bit about your group. I'm sure there are other groups like yours. And Lauren, you had mentioned before that we even have people just going down there to cheer. There has to be an overall sense of community, teamsmanship. So this isn't a sad event. You know, this is a positive type thing. Dan, tell me a little bit about you know, how you feel as a walker before, during, and after.
Absolutely. You know, as it builds up to the day, you know, obviously you train for this event. I mean, if you do a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, you know, what are you comfortable with? But if you make a commitment to attempt to do the whole walk, which is 20 miles, you know, you really have to start training. Again, that's why I use the local. I'm a walker, a daily walker. So my idea was, I'm walking, I should make a commitment to do this. I was introduced to it through a representative from Prject Bread coming to my work site, and I just made that commitment to challenge myself to get out and be a participant. That worked out okay. That was a good walk. You know, you start. It's almost the whole walk is almost you're cheered on. You know, of course you're sore, your feet, your ankles, your
Right.
You know, it's not a walk in the park.
Well, it is kind of.
Yeah, right.
Boston Common.
But you do walk through some nice areas, you know, beautiful areas of Boston, Brookline, Watertown, Cambridge, you know, over the Mass Ave Bridge, and then just hop, skip, and a jump, and you're back at the Common again.
This is phenomenal work you guys do.
Yeah.
Now we have another video which we're going to go to. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more in detail again how people can get involved. That way, people at home can have some stuff to work on in their free time before the walk on May 4th. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Ellen Parker, and we're here at the Walk for Hunger.
It's a perfect day, and it feels like a real triumph and a real victory. And I just feel so much love in my heart for all of you, and so much thanks. And this is just great and a great day, so let's go. Yay!
Plant inspiration. Provide youth with the creative tools and skills to cultivate it. And you'll be amazed at what can grow. Adobe Youth Voices in the Peapod Foundation. Learn more at plantandinspire.org.
Welcome back to the LynnCAM TV Show. If you're just joining us, here with me is Ellen, Dan, and Lauren. These guys are here from Prject Bread to talk to us a little bit about the Walk for Hunger. What we've covered so far is a whole lot. We've covered the walk. We've covered what Prject Bread's purpose is. Dan, you're a walker over there. Ellen and Lauren, you guys work at Prject Bread full time. Dan, you had, before we went to the break, you talked a little bit about the sense of community over there and how the day is special, but more so, you were impressed with the organization, how well organized it is, the signage, even being able to walk down Commonwealth Ave and not seeing cars there. It must be a pretty cool sight.
It is, and that's the joy of it. I mean, not only the sense of fulfillment or being able to, add something, make a commitment, and keep it. And it's a very important organization. All you have to do is, walk around Lynn, and you can see that the need is huge in a city like this. In fact, on my way over here, I was driving by the Sacred Heart School. They have an open food pantry on Wednesdays, and the place is just crowded with people, and that's one of the supports from Prject Bread. So the need is there. It's a great sense of fulfillment when you finish. Whatever mileage you do, that's not important. And it's an ongoing project. It's been here since 1969. Like I said before, this is my 3rd year, and I'm hoping to make even more years.
Excellent. Now, Ellen, during the break, you had mentioned that this is a Prject Bread and the Walk for Hunger are native to the state of Massachusetts, which is kind of really cool, especially as being a citizen around here. Tell me a little bit about Prject Bread and basically just some of their other goals that they have. Any other events that come up other than the Walk for Hunger?
Of course. So the Walk for Hunger is obviously our biggest event.
Right.
It's drawing 40,000 people. We can't get much bigger than that. But we have a couple of other things going on throughout the year. Some of them are fundraising events, some of them are awareness. But when you think about what Prject Bread does during the year, it's really working with our partners and really trying to solve the problem of hunger. And so we're doing that through so many different ways with the dollars that are raised through the walk. And that's really what we focus on. And
the walk has to be your biggest contributor.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Lauren, your job over there is to make people aware. Let's go over again how people can get involved, where they can register, what they can do other than just walking.
Exactly. So on the day of the walk, you can either kind of show up. We have a rolling registration between 7 and 9 that morning, so you just come to the registration tent and sign up there. Or if you wanted to get some fundraising and awareness going now for yourself and your team, you can also register online. And as Dan has done, is he created a team, and you are able to do that. Volunteer opportunities, just for anyone, any walks of life, any ability to do anything. Everyone is welcome at our walk, and we really want to make sure that all communities and everyone just kind of gets out and helps us spread the awareness of the problems of hunger in Massachusetts.
So what you guys are doing, it's imperative to the community, it's imperative to the state. I wish you the best of luck. That's it for the LynnCAM TV show. I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best.